Hello everyone, it's Matt here, and welcome to another update on the Pennsy N5c cabin car, or caboose, if you're calling it by what every other hour called it. It's been about 2 months since the last update on the 27th of May, and now it's towards the end of July. The cabin car was sent off to the very gracious and humble Hollywood actor Mr. Peter Borsherds, who's part of the Modeller's Life podcast network, and he was very generous and was able to take it to Rochelle for the a Modeller's Life podcast picnic, where it was displayed off and actually won their caboose build-off competition. I say it's won. It's pretty much that there was no competition, so it was one of one entry. Pretty much. It wasn't one of three. The Spoon, Mr. Spoon Ostertag, unfortunately didn't have enough time to do much work on his caboose, so he's had to pull out. And I don't know what happened to the other entry, whether that wasn't ready either. But it's a big win for me. In 7 weeks, it's gone from being a drawing and maybe a bit of preliminary work on the computer screen to being a full model, which you can take to an exhibition, and it's reasonably realistic, reasonably to scale accuracy as best as feasible, and that sort of thing. So it's great from that aspect. And I'm indebted to Mr. Borsherds for the couriering. There's a few other people I'd like to thank, or groups I'd like to thank. The first one, aside from Mr. Borsherds for being so generous in his time and luggage space, is OK Brickworks, who had to really push the boat out to do the decals, especially the dark red. It doesn't quite colour match. It's not a perfect match. I'm not too bothered, to be honest with you, because the steelwork arrangement could lend itself to that if it's been a patch job. Personally, I'm okay with leaving it as is for now. For finer details like that can be fixed later. As far as I'm concerned, it was done for the picnic. As far as I'm concerned, the hard bit is done. I can leave it as is. It's reasonably. The windows are slightly overscale, and there's the porthole pattern, which wasn't really there on the real thing. So maybe that'll be something that I can fix down the road, but at the moment it's not a priority. So it was really hard work getting that to dark red. So top dibs for that. Model Railroader magazine as well. I'd like to thank for their drawings of the N5c cabin car as well. That was the train phone fitted version. And although the magazine sort of says that you have to be subscribed to download it, if you go onto the Model Railroader Video Plus site, you can actually download it like the main schematics for free. There is a lot of other bits, sort of like notes and details and that sort of stuff, which isn't in that download. So it's something like a preview, but the drawings were good enough. The drawings are pretty much all you'd need to build it anyway, so it's great from that aspect. And the last one, and probably the least known out of all these people I've had to thank, is the Beaver Lawrence Railway Historical Society, which is a bit of a mouthful. They actually restored a Pennsy N5c cabin car themselves. And it's with much thanks to them that I've been able to, sort of do some of the finer details and do some of the sort of scaling, because although the Model Railroader magazine drawings were good, the finer details of the interior really needed the photos that were on their website about their restoration, especially for the stove. The stove was a real sticking point because, it's like teeny tiny on the Model Railroad drawings, but there's actual photos of a real one on that Historical Society restoration page. So it's great that facility was offered and that I was able to use it. So what's next for the Pennsy N5c? Well, obviously it's got to come back into where I live. It's got to come back to the Home Depot, if you like. The initial thing really is to fix it up back into a working condition. I believe the conductor has earned some time off from ensuring the car's safety. So he's probably going to have a nice vacation somewhere in the bedroom away from trains for a bit. And then obviously once, maybe further down the line, once I've dealt with a lot of the other stuff that's in the queue, I might come back to the Pennsy N5c and fit it with train phone equipment, because the whole thing was that the Pennsy N5c was sort of like catapulted to the front of the line for a couple of weeks to get it done, and then it can be left to one side if you like. It can go to maybe a couple of shows in its current form, and then once I finish the Alco RS1, which I have one part of bonnet for and one bogey, and so it's started. Once I've finished that, I can then fit the cabin car with the train phone equipment as well, and then I've got a matching loco and caboose, and then running that on a layout with about 4 or 5 cars would be perfectly realistic from that aspect, and a reasonable sized train in Lego train 8 wide train scale. So that's it really. I've won a build off. It's not a Lego build off, but I've won a build off. Thanks for watching, and I'll be uploading some more content to the channel real soon, including the July vlog. So that's it for now, and see you later.